Okay. While waiting, let us start this webinar. So firstly, I would like to thank everyone for joining us in this webinar to listen from success stories from the region on secondary education. And I also would like to thank all our presenters today from Malaysia, from Philippines, and also from Singapore. I would like also to thank Anan, the moderator for our webinar today is Mr. Dr. Yasir Kazisas, the communication officer of ANAN and also the steering committee member. And I would like to really appreciate ANAN for its outreach through this webinar to share the advanced technology and also, for example, the stories and achievement on nuclear secondary education within the region so that all our member states within this region and beyond will hear from it and can benefit from it. So thank you very much. And Yasir, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marina, and also thank you, Maru, for managing this this webinar. Sorry, my voice may not good, but as Marina said, it is the first ever Insta ANENT INSO joint webinar in association with the ANENT webinar series. Today, we will discuss about the good practices teaching how we can teach nuclear science and technology in good manner in the secondary education in high school. To do this, we have three speakers from three respective countries. The first one is Mr. Quid Viuket, and the next one is Miss Abligel C. Dagastas from Philippines, and the third one is Dr. Tan Zi Liang from Singapore. First, I would like to invite Mr. Quid Viuket from Malaysia to present his presentation. Mr. Quid is a chemistry and science teacher, Sanzas National Secondary School in Malaysia. He also contribute nationally as a teacher trainer for inquiry-based science education and judge for STEM competitions, showcasing his dedication to advancing STEM and NST education. In 2025, he received the National Innovative Teacher Award during the National Teachers' Day celebration, recognizing his outstanding contribution to creative and impactful teaching. His expertise has also earned him innovations to IA-affiliated programs. That same year, he was invited to World Atomic Week in Moscow, Russia, and completed the Global Immersion for Future Ready Teachers program in the United Kingdom. He holds a master's degree in science education from the National University of Malaysia. Dr. Quid, thank you to joining us to present your good experience and about nuclear education in secondary high school schools. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yasir. Okay, I would like if Mr. Maruyama could assist me to share my slide.
Of course, give me one moment.
Okay, thank you. So before I start my sharing this afternoon regarding because when I was approached to do some sharing for this event, I feel very privileged, okay, to able to share some the practices that I did with my student as a normal practice that we did for years, actually, ever since my very first time engaged with IEA program through the workshop for RAS 79 in 2019. It actually really sparked my passion in nuclear science and technology. So ever since, every time I keep on inspiring not only the student in my classroom, but also inspired other teachers as well to come along this journey and to make this NST to become a norm and something to look into, especially for the future. So thanks for sharing the slide. Actually, it should be a more animated series, but it's fine because we are using the PDF. So first of all, I would like to good day everyone. Thank you to
Okay, sorry,
Insta and then
let me check. Let me check
Yeah.
if I'm in late flow slide. Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah, it's fine because this slide is actually meant to be have some videos and some animated I mean like action, but it's fine because this is I'm not able to open the Canva using this platform, but I'm glad that I able to send this version of slide to the organizer for today's session. Okay, so I just simply call my presentation today Lighting Minds. The very first slide, Mr. Maruyama. Lighting Minds, Changing Lives, and Inclusive Pathways in Nuclear Science Education. So, all right. So before this, I would like to say good afternoon or maybe good morning to everyone. Thank you to Insta, ANN, and INSO for this opportunity to give some sharing this afternoon. So I would like to, it is my great opportunity. So I able to share some practical classroom tested strategies that have been helped to integrate NST in the school or maybe in your university life, okay? So as we all know that NST basically is not all about a topic, but also will become a culture of curiosity and then creativity and also inclusion. Okay, next slide. So as we all know that NST touches a lot of every global challenge, as we can see in the slide, food security, and then we come with the latest one, the climate change, and then energy and water and health. So all of this actually is the main agendas, especially when we want to talk about how we can serve the earth for the future, especially among our students in our classroom. And then how we actually can relate this with sustainable development goals, especially goal 13, climate action. And then we talk about as long and other SDGs as well. Okay, next please. And then the recent one from the IAEA, they're talking about how the climate change, how the NST can become a initiative in order for decarbonizations, how the carbon-free, reliable energy, and that it can be mixed for 24/7. Okay, now people talk about atoms for climates, items from green energy. Okay, so it's a very important agendas that we already inculcated for with our student in the classroom. Next. So what is our role actually as a teacher? So it already this quote actually already being my central all during my teaching philosophy, especially in NST. It's not enough to just give content actually. We as a teacher, we need to create a condition where actually the student able to not only invent, but to test ideas. And also they can able to build the projects, ask questions, and also to explore the wonderful world of NST. And next. And also, basically, we also need to consider in any classroom that the students actually think differently. This is the very good tools that I mean toolkit diagram that always in my journey of as a teacher here, where it reminds me that neurodivergent learners, especially the student with ASD, ADHD, dyslexia, and the unique cognitive profiles actually can excel in STEM as long as we as a teacher able to give them given supportive structures in the uh, either in the teaching strategies or teaching methods in our classroom. So because by recognizing this type group of students actually helped me to design more inclusive NST experiences, so all of the students will be able to thrive. Next. So here comes where we actually in Sanzek. Sanzek is where the school that I teach actually is located in Sabah, Malaysia, East Malaysia. Okay, so we did develop an internal model which we call as NST STEM Inclusive, where actually this program is meant to ensures that students with diverse learning profiles can engage with nuclear science meaningfully. So everything from the instructions and then the project scaffoldings is really designed to include all the learners. So the special needs students or the mainstream students, the girls or especially the girls students in our school. As we all that it is well known that inclusion definitely is not an extra word, but indeed it is an innovative strategy in order for the student to embrace NST in their lives, not only in classroom but in their daily lives. Next. Okay, so basically these are the four meaningful inquiry-based activities that we can did throughout the curriculum. So basically we try to embed NST through inquiry in our activities that we done in the classroom, where the student can explore a lot of activities. For example, like how the isotopes can be traced in water, how the food actually can be uh, preserved using radiation, and the most important thing is how the nuclear medicine actually can save lives. So aside from that, we also integrate atoms for climate, okay, where we actually linking the science to environmental responsibility. So the goal is simple. First is to making the NST as real as possible. And then secondly, to make it relevant to their daily lives and they're able to apply it in their surroundings and even not only at their home, but also in their community. Aside from that, next slide, please. Aside from that, this is the most wonderful thing that I always did with my students, which I think is well known by all the educators out there, the project-based NST learning, where actually it's great when the student able to invent solutions throughout the project. For examples, I take some examples. The latest that we did is the student I give them some condition for them to explore. One of it is like three of the most interesting and engaging with the student is the first one, where the student will create the radiation awareness campaign. Not only that, the student also investigate how the small modular reactors investment readiness. I think they feel very engaged during this project. And then there's also one group of students. They're doing some research on the nuclear hydrogen economy and industrial decarbonizations. So these three they get so engaged with the activities throughout the project-based learning in my science and or chemistry classroom. And there's also one more, which is to design. When I ask them to design a small modular reactors, deployment blueprint for Malaysia for 2035. So this is something that our country actually having too. So it is very important, even at a student secondary schools level, to get ready with all this, and then to get ready with all these things, and where they're able to not only to think creativity, and also they can think critically, and also involve problem solving, which is really essentials in order for NST talents pipelines. Next slide. So these are the motivation goals really grows. So you can see there's a list of initiatives, especially for co-curricular NST activities, from drama, music videos, essay, research project, and stream showcase. So this platform actually not only they want to, I just don't want them, the student, only learn NST through the exam, but also through creativity and agency. So I will show you some pictures that what I did in the classroom. Okay, we can see here some of the project-based learning I did in the classroom that talk about, and then some modeling also involving. So this is the borderless classroom that we did thanks to Nuclear Malaysia. Through Miss Habibah, she able to introduce me with some of the scientists, and then one of the scientists come from Sabah themselves, and then they're able from this borderless classroom able to inspire our own student, the local student from Sabah, to venture into NST career, STEM career, through this simple world chat, a borderless classroom. Next, this is I think the video, music video already shown at the beginning of this session, where this is our student able to emerge as the winner for a music video competition. And then this is actually related to a drama stage competition, where these two teams actually our school able to emerge as the national champion in 2017 and 2018. And then the theme that they show is related to climate change and also related to physics. So is very interesting drama stage show that actually really inspire another group of students in our school and other school as well to also join some science STEM show competitions. So these are some of the behind the scenes, actually all the competition, lots of behind the scenes that I really want to show to all of the audience right now, but I think it's take a long time for me to share all the behind the scene, interesting behind the scene footage that we did. And then these are one of the amazing comic book. The next one slide, please. So, okay, these are the behind the scenes. And then the next one is, this is the International Sit in Space, where two of our students managed to become top 10 for this competition, which our school are very proud. And then it's from Malaysia as well. So the student, when we teach NST, we not only inculcate we don't show that this is really a physics things. We show it like it is it can embed it to all the subjects in the arts or maybe music, drama, and everything. Okay, so they are very these are the actually our school submitted more than 2 actually, because we got a lot of responses, a lot of feedback from the student that they really want to show their talent, especially in comic drawing. So this is an example of one of our boy. He became our ex-student right now, and then he's already further his study in France right now under a scholarship program.
Everybody
and then he's
knows
also
climate
doing
change.
communication. So basically this
But the-
whole video can be viewed in a website in UNESCO competition. Just type Danish and then type UNESCO Malaysia competition, where this actually showing how powerful is creative science expression can be. So in this video, Danish actually using storytelling to communicate an NST concept. And then I was I think I was amazed with how the emotional connection in order to make the science memorable, and it really inspired many of his friends to participate in NST competition and project as well. Next slide, please.
question is, how and why?
Can next
Let
slide,
me
thank
give
you. Sorry about that. Okay, so these are the poster of his winning. He able to get the 3rd place winner for this competition, which the competition is called 2023 UNESCO Club Worldwide Youth Multimedia Contest. And then this competition we didn't find this competition by our own, thanks to, I think, Marina, she shared in email chain, I guess, and until we found this competition. And then it's good that one of our Malaysian representative able to become one of the top 3 winners for this competition. Thank you for that. Next. All right, so this is one of the program that actually we strongly believe that NST is for everyone. So we did our own, design our very own competitions and community projects. And also we do have our very own mentorship system that actually include the special needs students. So from this, actually we found out that many neurodivergent learners excel when they are giving roles in coding and also designing, and also data handling. And also they are really a very good storytellers. So this actually giving them a lot of confidence and also purpose while learning in our school. Next slide. Okay. So so this is about AI generated pictures of our two of them. The side is the mentor students, which come from our mainstream students, and then the middle is the special needs students, where actually we know that we believe that innovation only grows when the leadership supports it. So we actually provides the vision and also the freedom to allow the NST activities to flourish among the students. So at the same time, we also have privilege that we're able to partnership with some universities and most importantly, Nuclear Malaysia and agencies in order to strengthen our ecosystem. Next slide. So this is one of our project. From this kickstart our very stream inclusive project by an international IAEA Young Talent Pro STEM. And then from this project, we showcase how we do from STEM inclusive, and then we become stream inclusive. And then this project able to win and earn us, our team, the teachers team to visit Moscow, Russia for during the World Atomic Week in somewhere in October, I guess, September. Okay, so it's a great privilege and very eye-opening event. Actually, from that visit, actually bring us even more ideas what we can do, especially in 2026. Next slide.
Maksud definisi ialah proses
So,
perebutan secara
so
rawat
these
dan
are some of
spontan
the
bagi
slides
individu
that
yang
happening in our
didasari
classroom, and then also how they actually involved in some of the presentation. Not only in our classroom, but our students themselves go to national event, go to state event, just to present what is the how the NST works in their life during do some exhibition, participate in the exhibition, and then some of them are really winning some of the STEM activity challenge. So I would like to make it simple, as one of my favorite motivators actually because is Maya Angelou. So I can summarize everything here with these acronyms using her name, Angelou. Actually, A stands for, this should be some animated, but I'm not sure whether you can press it. Oh, it's okay. So actually, A stands for accessibilities. Okay, yeah, where we actually talk about we open doors for every learners. So in order to make the NST reachable for all, so the N means nurture. We actually want the student to grow the curiosity with compassion. And then the G stand for global mindset. We want the student to link local learning to global issues. And then the E actually stands for empowerment, where we want our student to lead all the inquiries during the hands-on activities that they did. And then the L stands for lifelong learning. They not only become just curious during the school days, but they bring the curiosity will continues. And then the O stands for openness, where we actually celebrate diversity among the students, and then openness to accept the ideas from everyone. And then last but not the least is the U. It means unity, which actually throughout all the in education, especially for NST, we just were aiming to build a community that around with a shared learning, means that the knowledge can be shared to everyone. So here is a simple question. I throw back this question to all the audience here or anyone that listening to this sharing. So what condition for invention that we can create for the next school year? Okay, so something to think about. Okay, so even a small changes, actually, I believe that even a small changes in our practice in our classroom can awaken a curiosity and unlock potential among our students. Next slide. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, so yes. All right, so the I will okay, the sound from the video actually quite can you back for one slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so basically I just have 5 things that I would not only me, I think all the educators can do for 2026. So the first thing we should aside after being among sharing among our region, it is good to expanded our access to NST, especially in Asia Pacific. Secondly, the growth of the school-based climate action, especially in nuclear techniques. And then the third one, which is actually expanding so rapidly in terms of the artificial intelligence to be fully integrated in the practice in STEM education, especially in NST. If I can talk for one workshop just for AI regarding how the strategies we can did in our classroom. And then the fourth one is the strong emphasis on the neurodiversity and inclusive NST education. And last but not the least, we should empower the youth by showing greater international collaboration for youth, especially in NST. I think there's a lot of agenda initiative did by IAEA and also by ANAN, INSTA, and also during INSO as well. It's a wonderful work and keep up the good work. So I think here comes to the end of my slide. So I just I would like to say thanks, especially to my school principal, Don Archibald bin Juma, for having always for his support, not only to the teachers but also to the students throughout this program. I also would love to thank Nuclear Malaysia for always being our like something like our foster family for us, Sanzak, and also IAEA for all the knowledge that you have teacher, not only me, but also all the teachers around that have already joining all the initiative under IAEA. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Quaid, for your comprehensive and very fantastic, very amazing, I mean, presentation, very good, lot of hands-on training, hands-on experiment, hands-on projects have been made, have been done with your directory, I mean. Okay, we have time to questions from audience. If there is any questions or comment, please raise your hand.
Yes,
Yes.
Neil. May I
Yes.
suggest we hold all questions at the end after the 3 presentations
Good, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
because of the time issue.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Congratulations, Quid, for the presentation and sharing of the experience from your school in particular.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much again. And please join us till during the end of the webinar to have discussion. Okay. At this time, I would like to invite next present speakers, Miss Abigail Dagastas from Philippines. She served as a senior science research specialist at the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, focusing on the development and implementation of education and training programs that strengthen nuclear science literacy and public understanding of radiation and its application. She leads initiatives that promote teacher capacity building and practical learning approaches, contributing to the advancement of nuclear science education in the Philippines. She is the proponent of MAX Labs, maximizing nuclear science laboratories through active experimentation, a one-day course designed to help teachers optimize the use of existing laboratory resources for hands-on nuclear science learning. Ms. Dagsas, thank you to accept to join us today. The floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm having trouble sharing my presentation. May I please ask somebody from the organizing team to please help me share my presentation?
No.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Dr. Maruyama. So, good day to our colleagues from the IEA Insta and ANENT. I am very honored to share the Philippine journey in nurturing the student innovation in nuclear science. I am Abigail Degasdas from the Nuclear Training Center of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, and I am here to present the topic on From Classrooms to Competitions, the Philippine experience in nurturing the student innovation in nuclear science. Next slide, please. All right, so I have this question like why student innovation in nuclear matters? Because obviously there is now a global demand for nuclear professionals, and early engagement builds competence and curiosity among our students. And nuclear applications now span medicine, agriculture, industry, energy, and a lot more. So the future of nuclear science depends on early engagement of our students, so students become motivated when they see nuclear science as relevant, exciting, and full of possibilities. Next slide, please. So, into the Philippine context, the Philippines somehow has strong grassroots interest in STEM. Teachers actively integrate nuclear science topics, and also the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute has a long-standing commitment in outreach programs for the teachers and students as well. So in the Philippines, many schools across the country have STEM programs, including those in rural and regional areas. The students actively participate in science fairs, projects, and other STEM activities. Teachers are also highly motivated, and they regularly seek training opportunities to strengthen their science teaching. However, this enthusiasm is often challenged by limited resources, and many schools, particularly in the remote areas, lack access to laboratories, equipment, and updated teaching materials. And these gaps make it difficult to fully support hands on learning in nuclear science. That is why capacity building programs and accessible teaching strategies remain essential in our context. Next slide, please. So, what are the challenges that we have to overcome in our country? So, the Philippines have limited resources or equipment in many schools. Also, teachers often lack formal nuclear training, since we also do not have, in most universities in our country, we actually do not have degrees that is very particular in nuclear science. And also, since we are in an archipelagic country, so the geographic challenges as well, because we have many island regions, and the persistent nuclear misconceptions. Okay, so next slide, please. So what is our strategy? What is the PNRI strategy for innovation? So we are having or developing classroom exposures for teachers and students as well. Also teacher capacity building, develop hands-on activities that teachers can replicate into the classrooms, national competitions that is being sponsored by the Philippine Nuclear Research Institutes, and also schools are also doing their own national competitions as well, and mentoring and recognition programs. So actually, our goal here is to make nuclear science understandable, engaging, and safe for all learners, regardless of their location or available resources. So through these initiatives, the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute helps bridge the gaps in equipment, training, and understanding, particularly in the far-flung areas or remote areas in the Philippines. Next slide. So what are the key programs that spark innovation? So we are celebrating the Atomic Energy Week every December. And what is happening during the AEW or the Atomic Energy Week is that the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute conducts an open house to students and teachers. So they are free to come over to our facilities, visit the laboratories, so that the students will get to know what is being done in the facility, since we are trying to break the stigma about nuclear science, because every time we ask them what comes into your mind when you hear the word nuclear, so they often think of or answer about bombs, having cancer. But actually, some of the students, particularly students that are not under the STEM program, um, very know little about the applications or the different things that we can do with nuclear science. Also, we have the Curies class. This is the nuclear science for high school teachers and the Max Labs program, or the maximizing nuclear science laboratories through active experimentation. I think I have a different slide that focuses on these two programs. Next slide, please. So, wait, I think there are there are hidden slides, but I just wanted to mention that for the classroom level innovation examples, for us to be able to show or tell teachers what they could do in the classroom for them to gain their students' interest in learning nuclear science, is for them to somehow create or innovate or improvise, even improvise some materials. Like, for example, the cloud chamber. Actually, finding a radioactive material here in the Philippines that can be used for teaching purposes is quite a challenge as well. But I've learned also that we can use materials like the gas mantle, or even the alpha emitters that is installed in smoke detectors, can be used um, as a radioactive material or a source for them to have a demonstration of the cloud chamber. Um, Teachers are taught to improvise such materials so that the demonstration of the particle tracks can be shown to the students. So it is safe, and materials are commonly available, and it is ideal for the classroom demonstration. Another example is the beer foam experiment. Actually, some of the teachers are asking, can we use soft drinks instead of beer, because beer is not allowed inside schools. But actually, the beer is a very good material for the demonstration of the half life, because the beer foam lasts longer compared to the soda or any carbonated drinks. So the beer foam experiment actually models the radioactive decay. So as the foam height decreases over time, so the presenters or the teachers can actually show the relationship of the exponential decay through the beer foam. So those are just a few of the creative ways on how we um how we give teachers or how we educate teachers on what they can share or to their class and students. So the role of teachers in student innovation. So teachers are innovation multipliers, and we also have the trainer model via the PNRI, or through the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. And these teachers integrate the nuclear science topics across different subjects such as physics, chemistry, research, and even mathematics. And we also offer mentorship for research competitions. Okay, next slide, please. So actually, I think the reason why I was invited to present in this forum is because different international competitions receive a lot of entries coming from the Philippines. So why Filipino teachers are highly motivated to coach or to have their students represent the Philippines in the international competitions? Because actually, in our country here in the Philippines, participation to this international contest earns them promotion points. Also, the all expense paid tours and the opportunities to meet nuclear science experts, and the professional visibility and recognition. Actually, what the PNRI is doing is just to share the information, but even us ourselves are happy to see and to know that teachers are very eager to send students, as well as themselves in preparing or helping their students to prepare in such contests. So also, the teachers value the recognition and visibility that they receive when their students excel in the programs, particularly when the students won in these competitions. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, so apart from the teachers' side, students are also motivated. And what are the benefits that they can get from joining such competitions? Since competitions create an environment when they collaborate with other participants also. So it actually helps the students see nuclear science not just as a subject in school, but as a field where they can contribute ideas and innovations as well. So this process is meaningful in the Philippine context, where recognition at the national level earns the students academic points and helps them build confidence in pursuing nuclear science or STEM pathways. So when students participate in events, particularly in the international setting, so they gain points towards honors, particularly those students who are graduating, and also they are having this opportunity to present their research, also to become exposed with scientists and experts in this field, and also to have a grasp or have an experience on the real applications of the nuclear science and technology, and as mentioned, building confidence and STEM identity. Okay, next slide. So I also wanted to share what the PNRI is doing for those who do not know what we do yet in PNRI. So I wanted to share what programs we have in the institute that we share with the secondary school teachers and students. So let me just introduce what the Nuclear Training Center is, because it is the section where I belong in our institute. Next slide, please. So from the Nuclear Training Center, this is actually the core facility in the PNRI, which is actually in charge in the dissemination of information to the teachers and to the students, or to the education sector. So in our office, we offer professional certificate courses year-round. And these programs meet the regulatory requirements for radiation protection officers and authorized users of radioactive materials. But aside from that, we also provide specialized courses for other stakeholders like researchers, the faculty or teachers, and even to the students, so that they will be able to see the applications and, of course, learn the fundamentals of nuclear science. Okay, next slide. So from the Nuclear Training Center, so apart from the other training courses that we offer, we have in particular, for teachers and students, we have the Curies class, um, wherein it encourages teachers and students to become curious. Curious class, Nuclear Science for high school teachers. This is actually a 5-day training program. And also a student internship program or on-the-job training for students. And also by research and thesis advisorship. Next slide, please. So this programs is actually named under the InStep program. So I think this InStep program started in 2018, and it is still being utilized up to today, wherein we have several programs that we offer to different stakeholders, particularly to the education sector. So next slide, please. So the InStep actually supports and strengthens the nuclear science and technology education in the Philippines. So this is actually for K to 12 teachers and students, and it provides opportunities to promote the peaceful uses and applications of nuclear science and technology, and of course to enrich the teachers' knowledge um, about nuclear science. Okay, next slide. So under the NST education program, so one of the ways for us to attract or make students love nuclear science is for them to have a scientist-teacher partnership for science investigatory projects or researches. Also, the development of teaching and learning resource materials for nuclear science and technology, the internship of K to 12 or senior high school students, and the professional development training courses for teachers, and other outreach programs and activities. So let me show them to you by clicking on the next slide, please. So prior to that, we also built partnership with the different institutions for us uh, be able to easily invite them whenever we have events or whenever we have courses to offer. So we have here other agencies under the DOST or under the Department of Science and Technology. So we have here the SEI or the Science Education Institute, as well as the Philippine Science High School System, wherein they have 13 campuses, and the Department of Education, wherein all private and public elementary and secondary schools are under these agency. Next slide, please. So through those partner institutions, we are able to let these teachers and students know the different programs that we have for them. So the science and teacher in partnership for science investigatory projects or researches. So teachers and students are able to visit the institute and invite or have an advisor or a counterpart that could actually help them in their investigatory research. And as you can see in this photo, this was just last year's event, but actually this year I just do not have yet the photo of the recently conducted RST or Regional Science and Technology Fair, but they another school that has been mentored by one of my colleague who is in the photo in the red shirt. Again, one, I think they placed second in the Regional Science and Technology Fair. So we offer collaborations from our experts to the teachers and students. Next slide. We also have here the learning resource materials for NST. Um, This has been a collaboration with the Department of Energy here in the Philippines. And we have here Nuclear 101 booklets. And these booklets are accompanied with videos. So teachers can actually download the booklet and watch the video with their students as well. So these booklets are, I think we have 11 booklets that have different areas on nuclear science and radiation safety. So teachers can use this as references when they teach or share nuclear science topics to their students. Next, please. And we have here classroom kits. Actually, these classroom kits are donated to us by Japan, and these classroom kits are also loaned to teachers and students as well. So for those schools who would like to have a demonstration but they do not have the materials, they just write letters to us and we send them the classroom kits. So after their activity, the materials or the classroom kits are being sent back to us so that other schools can actually borrow these materials. So the classroom kits are composed by the cloud chambers, the Radcore, the Mr. Gamma, and this kind Pro, and a few radioactive check sources or norms that we have. So we include those items in a kit and have these teachers borrow these materials. Also for it actually helps them to share and helps them teach um, nuclear science. Okay, next please. Another way for us to gather the interest of the students is through the student internship program or the on-the-job training program. So as you can see here in the photo, so these are students from the secondary high school, particularly in senior high school, and they are um, They are welcomed by the facility to work with supervisors, particularly those who are working in the agriculture section, in the physics section, in the chemistry. Actually, any section wherein the student has an interest, they are welcome to apply and have their internship or on the job training programs with us. So these students are actually having a real experience with what we do and the applications as well of nuclear science. Next slide, please. And here we have the professional development training courses for the teachers. So these are workshops or training programs, particularly for high school science teachers. It can also be be made available or tailored to college teachers or faculty, as well as to pre-service teachers. When we say pre-service, for those who are just about to graduate and will soon become teachers. So next slide, please. So I'm quite excited to discuss what these are. So actually, we have the SNSH SST. It's a 5-week course, but after the pandemic, we focus more on those programs that are requiring training programs. That's why it actually gave birth to the Curies class. However, the Curies class requires 5 days of training. And some school administrators cannot afford to have their teachers in a training for 5 days. That's why we created another program for teachers, which is just a 1 day. It's still a comprehensive program, but it contains uh, practical exercises, laboratory activities, wherein teachers can do or can replicate into their classrooms. So the Max Labs, the one here at the right, maximizing nuclear science laboratories through active experimentations. We just started it just this October, and as of today, we have catered three courses already. So it's becoming very popular to the schools. And I think we also have a lineup for next year for this program. The Max Labs actually is, as I have mentioned, a 1 day program, but this is done or this is done to the requesting school. We are the ones who go to the schools. Unlike the Curious class, they are invited to come to the PNRI for them to be trained, to get training. But for the Max Labs, we are the ones who go to the schools. That's why we can also see what is happening or what do schools have in their own locations or places, and we can see the actual scenarios, what are the things that they still lack, what are the things that they need, and we can assess and we can help them with the materials that they would like to have and share with their students. So next slide, please. So this is the Max Labs that has been done within the premises of the PNRI. So the teachers were able to see what's inside the nuclear reactor, as you can see here, nuclear research reactor, as you can see here in the photo at the left. And we have a series of laboratory experiments like the cloud chamber, the distance versus the intensity experiment, and a few visits in the laboratories. And I think this is the electron beam facility of the PNRI. So teachers were able to, these are university teachers from the University of Rizal System. So they were able to experience what we are doing in PNRI. Next slide, please. So this version of the Max Labs program was the one that we did outside PNRI. So the Virgen del Pilar School of Rodriguez is a private school, private high school. And what they did is they invited also other teachers from private schools just for them to have the minimum number of 30 participants so that we can proceed with the course. Regardless of the number, we still proceed with the training. So as you can see here, we brought the materials from the laboratory, from our laboratory. We brought them to the classroom, and we performed, and we taught them how they can replicate these tools or these materials so that they can perform these exercises with their students as well. Okay, next please. Also, other outreach programs. So this December, we are having another series of special events. So this is just one of the special events that we cater for us to attract also students. The Nucleart, wherein it is an on-the-spot poster making contest. So it raises awareness while the students are being artistic in their own ways, as well as the Philippine Nuclear Youth Summit. Okay, next slide, please. This is actually in partnership with another agency, the DOST SEI or Science Education Institute, where they invite us, people from the nuclear sector, to also cater topics to sorry, to teachers that they invite for their program. So this one, the one at the top is the Nuclear Science Camp. It actually lasts for 4 days, and teachers from the different regions of the Philippines are being invited and experience and uh, hear about the concepts and learn on um, the different activities that they can do in the classrooms. Another is the new lab, the one at the bottom. So this is time in motion. This is actually a bus that has been converted into a laboratory. So this is also an interesting idea. Another way of sharing the knowledge and then the experiments and the activities inside the bus. So this bus is actually a traveling bus. It goes to different provinces, bringing these materials to different schools into these provinces in our country. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so I think that's the end. We have now reached the end of my presentation, and I hope you have picked up something from my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. D'Agustas, for your nice and informative presentation. We see that several works have been done related to nuclear education in the secondary high school level. Thank you so much. I think we have several questions, but as Marina said, please let us to have a discussion after the last presentation. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. And right now, I would like to invite Dr. Tan Zi Liang from Singapore. He is research fellow in the Singapore Nuclear Research and Safety Institute, and he is the team leader at the first INSO 2024 in the Philippines, and also for the next second Olympiad in 2025 in Malaysia for Team Singapore. Dr. Tan holds a PhD in nuclear engineering from Cambridge and works on nuclear safety analysis, spent fuel verification, and fuel cycle modeling, all core areas relevant to fundamental nuclear science concept. His background ensured both depth and accuracy in scientific explanation. At the Singapore Nuclear Research and Safety Institute, Dr. Tan is engaged in fuel cycle modeling and nuclear safety analysis work, supporting Singapore's strategic interest in understanding nuclear energy options in the context of a small area. Dr. Tan, can you hear me? If you hear me?
Yes, hey. Yep.
Okay, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the introduction. So thank you everyone for tuning in. So I'm here to share a bit more about Team Singapore's participation at the International Nuclear Science Olympiads, our motivation, and what are these background processes which helped us get pretty good performance at the competition. So I would first like to draw attention to the fact that this is fundamentally a team effort. So while I am here today presenting on this topic, I am very happy to be blessed by a strong team. So with me is Theodore and Daryl, who have participated in the previous two INSOs as well. My institute director, Professor Chong, who was also team leader in the first INSO. And of course, Mr. Kelvin, who he's from the Ministry of Education, and he was helping us across both competitions with a lot of administrative assistance. So you will notice that most of us actually come from the Singapore Nuclear Research and Safety Institute. So let me speak a bit more about who we are and why we're interested in INSO. So we were originally started in 2014 as a research initiative within the National University of Singapore. And we only officially launched as a research institute earlier this year in July 2025. And as a research institute, we are interested in various research dimensions when it comes to nuclear safety. So I myself and my colleagues, they come from the reactor safety team, where they're interested in severe accident simulations and studying and keeping track of advanced reactors for because of the interest and the potential which they could contribute to the region. I also have colleagues working on radionuclide dispersion in the environment. I have colleagues working on radiochemistry in the detection and measurement of low dose radiations. I have colleagues in radiobiology who are interested in the health effects of low dose radiation and how do we measure and quantify these doses. And I have colleagues in the nuclear policy research group who are looking into regulatory and legal challenges of bringing nuclear energy, starting a program, right? So as an institute, we are also very interested in outreach to the general public to promote public interest and education on nuclear science and technology. And we see this as a good opportunity to encourage talented students to become interested in nuclear science and technology. And as they go further in their lives and when they think about their further studies or their future careers, perhaps they may consider joining this exciting field. So some context about Singapore. So at present, Singapore has not made any decision on whether to adopt nuclear energy, right? But historically, back in 2012, there was a pre-feasibility study which was conducted, and they concluded that nuclear energies at the time were not suitable for Singapore. But the recommendation of the study was that Singapore continue to pay attention to new and upcoming technologies which may become more suitable. So it's along these lines with which my initial research initiative was started. So there was this push to capability development within Singapore, right? So since then, Singapore has been seriously studying whether nuclear energy may be able to contribute to our future energy needs in a safe and secure manner, right? So as I mentioned, we have been trying to develop local expertise with the establishment of SNERSI starting in 2014. And officially opening this year. The aim of SNERSI is to train 100 Singaporean nuclear experts by 2030. Towards this goal, we send students out to do further studies in nuclear-related matters. And when they come back, they can work for SNERSI, right? So I myself am the recipient of such a scholarship. So as the moderator introduced, I did my further studies in Cambridge in nuclear engineering, and here I am back in SNERSI. Over in Singapore, we have also been engaging like consultancy firms to study the safety and feasibility of advanced nuclear technologies, such as the SMRs, small modular reactors. We've recently reorganized various agencies, such as our energy regulator, the Energy Market Authority, and the radiation regulator, the National Environment Agency, to create dedicated nuclear teams of feasibility assessments. And we also recently released a background paper to explain to the public, right, like what is Singapore's potential interest in energy and its capability building. So you can see that even though we have not made any decision, right? We are seriously studying the feasibility, and we have been trying to develop our local expertise in these topics. So it is along these lines that we see like INSO potentially playing a role, right? If we can use it to generate interest among students in heading towards nuclear science and technology. So, so back in 2023, the INSO competition was still being conceptualized, and my institute director, Prof. Chong, he is involved with multiple engagements with the IAEA, and through one of them, he came to learn of the competition. And it also in 2003, myself and my colleague Theodore, we both returned from our further studies and we started working in CERSI. And we were both very interested in teaching and in furthering nuclear education within Singapore. So these things obviously came at the right time. And very fortunately, the Ministry of Education was very supportive. They agreed to financially and administratively support SNERSI in pushing to participate in the what would have been the first INSO in the Philippines. So to date, we have participated at the previous two INSO competitions, 2024 in the Philippines, 2025 in Malaysia. We have obtained good results. So for both competitions, we got 4 gold medals. In the Philippines, we got the special award for top experimentalist, and in Malaysia, we got the award for the top theory and the top overall scorer, which the competition calls the nuclear ambassador. So in my opinion, our successes in these early days of INSO may be attributed to some combination of organizational factors and human factors, and these are what I like to share more upon for countries who may be interested. So within organizational factors, right, I'm referring to systems, the systems of student selection and systems of the training and the program design. And human factors are a bit more intangible, but I would chalk it down to student enthusiasm, student motivation, and of course, and the general agreement on our among us in the training team as to how we're going to help these students learn more about nuclear science. So first about student selection. So currently in Singapore, the state of nuclear education is not very developed, right? For example, at the university level, we don't have any nuclear science or nuclear engineering offerings, right? In contrast to some of our neighbors who perhaps at the master's level or even the bachelor's level, there's nuclear programs. So we don't have such a program at the university level, although we do have plans to establish an upcoming Masters of Science here in the US, which I'm also involved in. But these are still early days. And in pre-university levels, we don't really teach a lot about nuclear science and technology either. So the basic concepts behind radioactive decay and the recognition that nuclear fission exists and it has the potential to be used to generate power. So these are introduced at a very brief level in the pre-university level. So what this means is that there is no obvious pool of nuclear science talent to select our students from. However, we do have an established pipeline in training talented students for the physics Olympiads. So, and this pipeline is run in collaboration between the Institute of Physics in Singapore and the Ministry of Education. So it was a very natural decision for us here in SNERSI to try and benefit from this established pipeline, right? So the benefits of this are obviously it's easier for us, right? Because this system exists, we get to benefit from it, and the students that come out of this pipeline, they have had previous training in physics and in mathematics, and these are topics which are quite relevant for INSO, because of the 7 INSO topics, I would say like most of them tend to be based on the physical sciences, right? There's radioactive decay, there's the structure of the atom, there's of course like fission and fusion energy, And even in the applications of nuclear science, they tend to be based on radioactive decay. So having prior exposure to advanced physics and mathematics from the students is very beneficial to us. However, there are some trade-offs from our student selection process as well. So for these students who initially signed up to prepare for the physics Olympiad, right? Like INSO wouldn't have been their first choice. So when they get selected for INSO initially, right, they may be lower student morale because they may find this as a bit of like a consolation prize, right? But I from my experience after the first few sessions, as they engage with the material, then they realize that there's a lot of interesting science going on that tends to improve, right? And by utilizing this pipeline, we somewhat limit our reach, right? Because, for example, students who may be interested in nuclear science but did not go through the Physics Olympiad pipeline would not have been considered by this system. So we are currently looking into how we may want to tweak our student selection process. But so far, I think this process has been working for us. And the second organizational factor is our student training program. So at the previous competitions, I talked to my colleagues from other countries, the other team leaders, and we all agree that student training can be quite challenging. So, but this is how we do it. So the selection of the 4 students would have happened by the time April comes along. And in the first 2 months, in April to May, we will meet up once a week for a 3-hour training session over here in my SNRSI venue. So we meet once a week, and then we introduce these nuclear science topics to them. And then in Singapore, the school holidays happen in June. So the students will be on school holiday for a whole month. And in terms of these 2 months, we give them 2 weeks to take a break from INSO training and to let them focus and catch up on their other schoolwork. And then the other 2 weeks, we will call them back more often for a full day training this time. So it's not just 3-hour sessions, right? And this will happen maybe 4 or 5 times in the last 2 weeks. And then in the next month in July, we will reduce the intensity again, maybe 1, rarely 2 training sessions. And then we have an admin briefing. And then, of course, this is when the competition itself will happen at the end of July. So all in all, you would see that our training program spans 4 months of regular face-to-face sessions. So when I share this with my, again, with my colleagues from other countries, so I think they are quite amazed that we could do this. And I'll remind them that this is perhaps very lucky for us, right? So in this sense, we are lucky that Singapore, we are a small island country and our public transport network is very extensive. So it's possible for students to, come down to our location, do training, go home, the next day go back to school, like nothing happened, right? So we can like pace and meet regularly throughout these 4 months to get to know each other, to find out what students like. And then if we realize that, okay, they tend to be interested in these things, maybe we can tweak our training a little bit to cater to these things. And again, we also shouldn't take for granted that there is a very strong collaboration from MOE and the schools, right? Because the schools, they don't have to support us in sending students to INSO, right? But they understand that, okay, this is good for the development as well, right? So we coordinate so that when the students are with us, it happens on typically a Wednesday where schools usually only run for half a day. So there's minimal disruption to their regular education as well. So these are systemic factors which are helpful, I would say. As for the training content, we do about 1. So as I mentioned, there were 7 topics in INSO syllabus. So each main topic gets 1 lecture by itself. On top of the 7 main topics, we also have about 4 additional sessions. These sessions will be pertaining to nuclear reactor physics and engineering. So again, Theodore and myself, this is what we're trained in, and we are very excited to share what we know about these things. So we teach like the basic concepts, roughly speaking, what a reactor is, what the reactor plant is, very basic neutron diffusion theory, right? Spatial distributions, kinetics, time distributions. So fairly basic stuff. We'll also teach them a little bit of data analysis and experimental techniques. For example, in school, they may not have learned about Poisson statistics, but obviously these are very relevant concepts for radioactive decay. So we give them like crash course in these things. And we also have them do peer learning, where they may self-study some topics, and then they will like present what they learned to each other. So together we can cover more. And as for the training materials could be challenging because in most places, nuclear reactor physics, nuclear reactor engineering, nuclear science, these are either advanced undergraduate or even master's level topics. So it's not very easy to find a textbook that you can use directly. So we refer to 2 textbooks in particular, Introductory Nuclear Physics by Crane and Fundamentals of Nuclear Reactor Physics by Lewis. But even so, as on the training team, we have to serve as like translators, right, to help like simplify some concepts, or maybe you don't need so much math. This is the basic idea. So we have to do this kind of a bridging translation services, right? Otherwise, we also take reference from the past INSO papers, and there's a set of 25 INSO preparatory problems which were released at the beginning of the INSO. So these have been very helpful to help us prepare. We select some problems from those textbooks, which we feel is doable by the students. And we also design a few extra problems ourselves to kind of test the students based on what we've been talking about. So this is the training program. So on the human factors, there's not much more to say actually. Like so, I mean, I will note that in Singapore, our education system is generally quite rigorous and to be honest, stressful as well. So I think the students they have been trained with some level of fortitude, going through this system, and it's not just the normal system, because these students would have gone through physics Olympiad training. So as I said, they have been trained in more advanced physics and mathematics, and they have demonstrated this degree of self-motivation, right? To put themselves forward to be considered for physics Olympiad. At the end of it, I have some confidence that my students they have a baseline level of capability, and that they are they are driven people. So this has been very helpful. And on the other hand, I think I can say that on the training team, we are all very enthusiastic, and we tend to think alike, which is very helpful. So for example, the training team, we all agree that student experience is actually the most important factor, because as I said at the beginning, right, the goal was always that we would like to increase student exposure and interest in nuclear science and technology. So if at the end of it, the student, whatever medal he or she gets, right, if they walk away from this saying that, wow, okay, right, yes, I got this result, but they put me through so much nonsense that I hate nuclear science and technology, then we failed, right? So so we keep this in mind, and we realize that yes, the training program, at the end of the day, yes, we are training for a competition, but it's not just that, right? The stuff that we teach them should hopefully be more generally useful in the future life, right? In their further studies, and hopefully in their career eventually. And it should also be fun, because I mean, of course, learning happens best when people are enjoying themselves. So we try to remember these things when we are planning our coaching and when we prepare our learning materials. So so this is my last slide. So I hope I have explained how, like, what is the motivation for Singapore and my institute to participate in these INSO competitions. And I would say that our early successes in the first two competitions can be attributed to a combination of organizational factors and human factors. And of course, I will make the observation that except for the geography, right, or when it comes to us being a small island and being well connected, none of these factors are actually necessarily unique to Singapore, right? So what this means is that as INSO matures as a competition, we can expect a stiffer competition, right? Be it when my colleagues from other countries, when they experiment with and improve their own student selection and training processes over time. For example, I spoke with the team leader of Oman a couple of months ago when we were in Malaysia. So he explained how they've learned from the first experience in the first Olympiad, where you're heading in, you don't really know what it's about. But after you've gone through it once, okay, you have a better idea of what's happening. They take these lessons, they implement in their training program, and in the next year they got a good result, right? So he is confident that going forward they'll do even better, and I think that's great. And over time, as more countries notice and want to participate in INSO, right, we're going to have more and more heavyweight countries, right, which perhaps have their own strong Olympiad records, or they actually have more developed nuclear education ecosystems, right? So they have a bigger talent pool, more resources, more manpower to draw upon, right? So for example, Japan, which did not participate in the first INSO, they participated this year, right, in the second INSO. And they started with a very strong showing, right? They got 1 gold medal, 2 silver medals, 1 bronze medal. They won the top experimentalist award, and they also won the outstanding female participant award. So over time, as perhaps China, perhaps Korea, as they enter, right, we can only expect a competition to go up. And over time, I suppose all I can say that it remains to be seen by the Team Singapore that we can continue to retain our competitive edge in the competitions to come. And with that brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you for listening. And I'll stop sharing now, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Liang, for your complete and nice presentation related to your experience for the team of Singapore for INSO to 2024 and also 2025. Thank you for your presentation. I think you mentioned several key points to how we can prepare student team for such a complex competition and Olympiad. Thank you so much. So now we have time for Q&A session. All participants, I would like to invite all of you. If you have any comment or questions, you can raise your hand or also use chat box. I will read your questions. Maru, can you please open the microphone? I see a raised hand by BD. Here, Maru, can you?
Yasir, the Mr. Chandra, he can unmute himself. He is already upgraded as presenter, so he can do it himself.
Thank you. This is Monul from Bangladesh. However, Mr. Bidut Chandra is online with us. We are in a team. First of all, I would like to convey my gratitude to the IEA, who has arranged this program for ourselves, and definitely there are a lot of countries are there who are engaging here. So we have been expecting Singapore, Malaysia, and what should I say? Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. So it's a lot of experience for us. So I just simply I have two questions from my side. One question is that though Singapore is a newcomer in the field of nuclear science and nuclear science studies, especially in the undergraduate and graduate level, but they are starting their activities through Olympiad. So just from my curiosity, that how do you handle the patient who are treated with nuclear medicine? That is one of the question, or because nuclear medicine treatment for cancer patient is one of the key treatment for the cancer patient. And second question of mine, that there are a lot of activities in the Philippines as well as in the now you take it with the Philippines and the Malaysia. So in Bangladesh, how we can get support from IA or other bodies or Malaysia or Philippines to access those sort of activities, or to learn those practical activities in your country. So in fact, in our country, there is no education in nuclear science. It's just a few in a very few level are studying there. So it's but in the graduate level and undergraduate level, 2 or 3 universities, they have open nuclear science department. So it is definitely it is our journey in the education level. But in our country, nuclear science activities and applications are going on since 1971, from our independence. We have a great Atomic Commission, Atomic Energy Regulatory Authority, and moreover that we are going to establish a nuclear power plant with 2,400 megawatt with Russian technology and support. So these are all the activities. So from this session, just I need to get answer from these two questions only. Thank you.
Yasir, may I take the floor to answer the question?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yasir. I hear an echo. So I will mute you. Let me see if the echo is okay. So now I think we don't have any more echo. Thank you very much, Mr. Chandra, for the question. From the IEA side, we do have a project that supports both the secondary level education and the post-secondary level education. And your question is mostly about the post-secondary education. So we can support you. And we have a network within Asia and Pacific. It's called International Nuclear Science and Technology Academy. It's a network of educational institutions within the region. And the idea is to empower the educators and support each other. So I would like to suggest, for example, you mentioned you do not have like a nuclear medicine program or a nuclear energy program, for example. So this is where during this network, we can support the different education, or universities can support each other. For example, supporting you to develop your curriculum, and also participate in activities which we are having under the project, for your educators to have more information and then develop your own program. However, for this webinar today, we are really focusing on secondary education, the high school students. Why? Because we need to capture and motivate the students at this level, because then these students will be the one who will be going for the post-secondary education, taking courses in, various nuclear science and technology topic. We need already have the baseline of human resources and further train them through education. And in today's webinar, we hear from the high school teacher, from the nuclear institution, and also from university plus the Ministry of Education, how these co-curricular and curricular activities further motivate the students for them to think about nuclear science as their future program. So For further discussion about the post-secondary education, we can reach out through your NLO and discuss further how we can support Bangladesh. Thank you. Back to you, Yasir.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Marina. Dr. Zhang, if you have any comment about these questions, you can also explain. I think you, Dr. Liang, I mean, if you have to add some more, please.
Yeah, so if I recall, I think the question was mostly on medical physics. So on this, I'm not very sure of the whole landscape, but what I can say is that so the physics department at my university, they have run we call this like a minor program. So you take like maybe 6 modules that fit the theme on medical physics, and you get what they call a medical physics minor. I mentioned that there is an upcoming master's program on nuclear science and technology. So we are planning to include a medical physics track as well in the master's program, but these plans are still in the works. That being said, we do have quite a lot of nuclear medicine going on in Singapore. So I think we have at least 2, maybe 3. For example, a positron emission. Proton therapy beam lines. So these are obviously very advanced medical treatments that rely on nuclear science techniques. I am not very sure where they get their manpower from at the moment, but I think that what happens is that they would maybe hire a physicist and send them for training elsewhere. So right now, as I said, the nuclear education landscape is still quite early on in the development. So we're trying to figure out how we can support this going forward.
Thank you so much. Is there any other questions or comment?
Dr. Yasir, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we have one question from Dr. Kafa from Iraq to all esteemed presenters. I mean, in the chat box. How can you evaluate achievement with other presenters based on your current works?
Yes, the question is how can you evaluate the achievement of other presenter based on your current work?
Yes, exactly.
This question is from all presenters.
So I can go first if that's okay. So
yes.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess I'll start by observing first that we address different aspects of nuclear education. So our first speaker, he talked about outreaching to like the general student population. The second speaker spoke about training teachers to be able to facilitate nuclear education in their own classrooms. And for myself, I talk about training population. So these are like different aspects of it. But what I can say for my case is that I'm also interested in those things, and I've been working on various efforts along that. So in that sense, yes, I'm very inspired by what I see, and I get a lot of ideas from them. So, for example, as I mentioned, the goal for me is that I would like to generate more interest among students to head into nuclear science and technology. But by the numbers, right, I teach 4 students a year. So this is so in terms of like how much returns I'm getting for the effort, you can see it may not be the highest. So of course, going forward, right, we will need to tap into more assistance and more help and to increase our program in terms of education. So I think the point was made that teachers can be innovation multipliers. So yes, I'm also working with my Ministry of Education to try and develop resources which teachers can use to start talking about nuclear energy in their classrooms. And of course, when it comes to how do you introduce these concepts at a useful level, a lot of it comes down to outreach, the production of graphics, and to how do we simplify concepts. And this is where, again, I will take some lesson from my first speaker, who I saw shared some helpful materials in the group chat. So all in all, yeah, I think there's been good work done across the board. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have a question from Mr. Quid. As I see, you are a school teacher. Other speakers are working in research institute. So my question is, how can your successful model in Malaysia be adapted or scaled to other countries with different cultural and educational context?
Okay. All right. Thank you for the questions, Doctor. So in terms of scaling the success and achievement of all the initiatives that our school have done, it's actually what we can see actually how the project and the initiative that done by us duplicate by other schools, and how many schools are inspired and they did it by their own. They duplicate the simple thing that we done in their school, not only around my community but also nationwide, and even some friends from other countries as well. They're also duplicating some of the initiative that we did in their in their country. So I think that is the kind of like an achievement when they also send us some of the feedback, some of the impact that they're done in the countries. So I think this is a very beautiful thing that it can even sparks from a country that not yet to utilize, using nuclear energy as a main electric generation of electricity, but it can it's a very show something that this small place can inspire other friends, especially educators from other countries. And I also want to add on the very first the question from our friends from Bangladesh. Our school also did some initiatives where we did some collaboration with other country such as like Egypt, Japan, and Tasmania. We do a very simple world chat session just to discuss about climate change. So, and then relate with the nuclear science and technology. So, and then the background of that student is actually university students. So what we can conclude as summarize from this session is the exchange of ideas, even though we are from secondary school, how we actually jump out from our boundaries, going to have some collaboration with some universities. I think that is a very good, we both of us do have some good advantages. We share some knowledge and ideas for the students, and then where we want to produce more global leaders, not only among our community, but also networking among them. So I think this is a very beautiful things. And then last but not the least, the network that we done after joining IAEA programs, it also very helpful for us in order for them to exchange ideas, not only during the workshop, but after the workshop. That is actually very helpful. After sending all the educators for this kind of workshop, no matter how long it is or how short it is, but when we come back to our home country, we really apply what we already learned from the workshop, and not only apply, but also we come up with new initiative as how we as a way of to say thank you to IAEA for training us as an educator. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another question from you as a teacher.
Yes, here there is a question from Mr. Al-Juburi to Ms. Dagasdas, and he's asking if the activities presented by Mr. Dagasdas by PNRI are also available for international students.
Good.
Hi, thank you for that question. Actually, we can work on those activities if you would like us to help you with on, or building your own activities. And as for the programs for the STEM students or the K to 12 or internship, yes, we do accept international students as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. So I have a question also from Ms. Dagastas. You mentioned about educational kits that provided for some activity. Are the educational kits provided to schools or students comes to your institute or your laboratory to do something with these educational kits?
Actually, those educational kits or classroom kits can be borrowed by teachers from the different schools. They just have to write a letter to us, telling us when will they be needing the materials, and that they will be shouldering the expenses for the shipping of those materials. And yes, students who come to our facility also can have can have an experience on using those classroom kits. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. And can you, I mean, how are teachers supported and followed up with after they complete their training programs? How are teachers supported and followed after training programs?
Oh, yeah,
Is
how are teachers being supported?
yeah.
Whenever, yeah, after the training program, of course, they were able to learn new concepts and new strategies on how to teach nuclear science concepts, and they are being supported by the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute in terms of those materials that they would like to borrow from us. Uh, at this moment, that's all what we can give them, but hopefully in the future we can think of more ways on how we can help them, or how we can share more activities, applications, and even resources to these teachers. But for now, that's what we can offer to the teachers. Extensive trainings, if they would like us to go to their schools, we can go to their schools, share some resources and other stuff that we can develop for them.
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I see the hands raised by Dr. Asad Sharif. Please, the floor is yours. Dear Maru, I cannot accept or open the mic.
Yeah, Dr. Sharif, you can please unmute yourself and ask your question. Dr. Asad Sharif, can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, may I ask another question? I see in chat box the question is about Max Labs and Curriculas. I see that these two initiatives done in the Philippines. This question is, what are the specific criteria for selecting schools or teachers for programs like these two Curriculas or Max Labs?
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, we do not have a stringent criteria for selecting schools. As long as the school will be catering to senior high school, because the curriculum in the Philippines only has this nuclear science topic in the senior high school levels. So as long as they have senior high school teachers, or will soon be teaching nuclear science concepts, then we are willing, and we are accepting their requests for us to go to their locations and cater the needs for teachers who would like to have knowledge and experience on using the materials that are used for teaching nuclear science topics.
Good. Thank you. I see in chat box the question by Mr. Sharif. Let me read it. Sorry. Well, is there any boundary how deep a student can go in the difficult nuclear physics field? I think it is very major question because the concept, nuclear concept, is have some difficulty. I think Mr. Quid, I think you can explain or answer these questions. Is there any boundary how deep a student can go?
Okay, thank you for the questions. So regarding my experience teaching the secondary school students, I'm actually focusing them at the level of it's called as Form 1 until Form 3. I'm teaching general science actually, but while I'm teaching them general science, which actually is a very surface of very basic. They don't call it a nuclear physics, but they call it, they learn about nuclear science. So at their level of 13 years old, actually what we did actually, that's why we don't talk very in-depth to this group of students about nuclear physics, but we relate them with the, for example, that how with the global challenges. So when we talk about global challenges, they can relate them at their age, and then because they are coming to be the future leaders for the future. So when I try to integrate relate the global challenges, especially about the climate change, about the food, and then etc. So they can relate it with the how, the importance of nuclear science and technology to combat of all these challenges. So this how and then the feedback from them is they're really able to absorb what is the nuclear science is all about. And then when they're going for their nuclear physics, when they're going to the upper forms, seems like this topic become no longer something alien for them. They also can they can able to not only just know in depth about nuclear physics, but they also can talk even a deeper level about nuclear physics in their higher levels. And then I saw them even venture into STEM field, which is a very good thing that I started early at the very beginning in the secondary school.
Good. And
Thank you.
I have a question. As you are teacher, my question was, if a teacher wants to start inclusive nuclear science education right tomorrow, what is the first step? What you recommended if a teacher wants to start inclusive nuclear science education?
Okay. That is by tomorrow. So basically, that's actually talk to me. I think the very first thing is like get some teachers with the same passion, sit down on the table and have a good communication with the teacher. I think that's the very first thing that through mentoring, find the right person to talk about is how as simple as what we always in the coffee shop we talk with a friend. How the ideas can really go very far through the conversations. So I offer myself if the teacher really want to in that going the very first step in that, just email me about that.
Thank you. Okay, my
Thank
last
you.
question. If no question, it is my last question from.
Sorry, Yasir. Yasir. I would like the question to also be posed to the other presenter, Dr. Tanziliang, and also Abigail, because from Abigail, how the nuclear institution are supporting the teachers in, decipher the complex topic into the curriculum of the secondary. And also from Dr. Zila, because they are working very closely with Ministry of Education. But before the floor is given to them, I would like to explain under the project with the IEA, we had this project to empower the high school teachers. We started in 2013, and at that time, we empower the teachers through co-curricular activities, like so that they can have co-curricular activities to gain the interest of the student. And then our follow-up project is how we embedded nuclear science and technology and linking it into the secondary curriculum. And right now we are still finalizing the guidebook series for introducing nuclear science and technology, or linking nuclear science and technology to the secondary level education in the curriculum, co-curricular activities, and so on. And we hope by next year we can finalize it and it will be published fully. I also, now that I have the floor, there is a question about how we can get the presentation materials. I assume the presentation materials of this webinar. So all webinar will be posted on ANAN website together with the presentation. So you can review again, the video and also the presentation. So Yasir, with your permission, maybe we can give few minutes to Abigail and few minutes to Dr. Tan to also share their thoughts from their own country.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. My last question was related to difficulty of nuclear concept. And he mentioned, Dr. Liang, that your team teach nuclear book of Crane or Lewis. These are the fundamental nuclear books normally teach in university level. Wasn't teaching this such a book too difficult and challenging for the students? And also how your team manage it? And also, when solving various nuclear problems, besides nuclear concepts, mathematics plays a significant role in problem solving. Did the students have the ability to understand and use the required mathematical relationships to solve such a nuclear problems?
Okay, so I can answer that, and this also ties into the previous question, which is that I think from my experience, when you try to teach nuclear science, it is true that the mathematics required is quite complicated, right? If you talk about quantum mechanics and even within reactor physics, there's the concept of criticality, and these become like eigenvalue problems. And once you hear the word eigenvalue, it's like, oh my God, what I'm going to do next? So we don't really focus on the math. We try to just tell the story of what the number means, right? So for example, in reactor engineering, criticality eigenvalue, right? It simply means how much you have to adjust your fission source to make everything balance, right? So we use this and we use analogies to try to communicate the main ideas without needing to go into the math. So there's we've recently gone through COVID, right? So and again, like this idea of the reproduction number in epidemics is of course very analogous to neutrons in a multiplying system. So when I said that we reference those books, but we don't use them directly, and my team, we have to do this quote unquote translation work to make these concepts more accessible to the students. And this actually is also part of my answer to the first question, which is again, if I were to try to bring these concepts available to secondary school, I will try to look in terms of what they already understand and whether these concepts can be tuned down to that level. So, for example, nuclear reactor, right? It's complicated when you look at it first, but if you can, let's say, maybe start with a simple idea, which is just the chain reaction, something which sustains itself, doesn't die off and doesn't go crazy. Like we start from there and then we just put in a little bit more over time. So as I said, these things are still under development, so I don't know how well it's going to work. But if I were to do it, and and as I try to do it, this is how I would do it. Try to just break it down to things which don't require too much math, and then we'll try to build it up over time.
Thank you so much. I have no any questions. Dear audience, if you have any question or comment, if no, I would like thanks again for joining us, especially for our presenters from Singapore, from Philippines, from Malaysia, and also I would like to thanks Otara Pereira from Insta Working Group 3 to prepare this webinar as the first webinar of INSO, ANENT, and Insta. And also I would like to thanks Maro and dear Marina, and also Fonfet, the chair of ANENT. Thank you so much. Dear Marina, if you have anything for closing. So I see a raised hand.
Yeah, thank you, Asif, but I saw two raised hand.
Yeah.
And I wonder if everybody can entertain this two raised hand. So maybe we'll entertain this for this opportunity, right? I think this is a very unique webinar. A lot of good stories are being shared. So Mr. Shifula, you have the floor. Can you unmute yourself and raise your question? And also Dr. Anita, can you try to unmute yourself? Whoever unmute first, you can raise your question. Anita, can you unmute yourself and raise your question? I saw, yes. I saw you. Yes, please.
Thank you, Marina. It's not comment, but more of the experience that I had with and then INSO and Insta. And for those who would want to know more about how we integrate nuclear science technology education into the secondary and tertiary level, um, yeah, we would hope that Malaysia will be hosting the Insta School for radiation in medicine, and that will be a good platform for some of the participants here to be able to join, inshallah. So that's all from me, Marina. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. And that is an initiative under INSTA for the university or post-secondary education level. Mr. Shifula, can you unmute yourself? If there is a technical issue on that, I think we are also past our timeline for this webinar, and I really appreciate everyone to still continue being with us in this webinar. And thank you to Yasser for giving me the floor for the closing. So firstly, my heartfelt thanks goes to all our presenters. Mr. Quid from Malaysia, Mr. Gasdas from the Philippines, and Dr. Tan from Singapore for their inspiring contribution. Each presentation provided thoughtful and practical insights on how nuclear science and technology can be effectively integrated into the secondary education. So the presentations had highlight not only innovative teaching approaches, but also the enthusiasm and the talent of the young students when we create opportunity that spark their curiosity. Obviously, my thanks to Dr. Kazesas, who has been guiding us through the session and connect the themes across the presentation. So I hope the ideas today will inspire further collaboration. From the question, there is also raised interest, to collaborate with Malaysia, with Philippines, and also with Singapore, learning from, how they are training their students. And together, we will nurture the next generation of nuclear scientists, engineers, and also informed citizens, not only the specialists, but everyone, the public. And I would like to express that all this also to showcase IEA strong commitment to promote inclusive and accessible nuclear science and technology education that will empower young people and supports the socio-economic development of our member states. Thank you again for all your active participation and engagement. And we look forward to everyone to join our future ANAN webinar and the ANAN Insta Join webinar. With that, I wish everyone a pleasant day ahead and continued success in your important work. So thank you, everyone. And again, all the presentation material will be uploaded in Insta website. With this, we will close this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
so-
us.
Thank
Have a
you.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.